Here we go. Hello. I am an expert on aphasia. My aphasia. If you've met someone with aphasia, you've met one person with aphasia because it is different for everybody, right? Different symptoms, everything else. Now where I go? There we go. In the fall of 2023, the world of Tara Livingston, former Anglican priest, public speaker, leadership trainer, marriage course facilitator, divorce mediator, counselor, chaplain, took a right turn. Actually, my life took a big U-turn. Seems that the God of creation, wisdom of the universe, or the spirit of life, or whatever you believe runs the world, decided to turn my life upside down. It was a great joke. Words have been my whole life. Is this that? No.
Just the pad.
Where this? How I
just
go
in
down?
the center in the front.
Where this mouse? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so old. All right, so words have been my whole life. And on the 8th of November, 2.5 years ago, my life was forever changed. My stroke left me with aphasia, apraxia of speech, and for a little bit more fun, in February, I was inflicted with the foreign accent syndrome. I'm third generation Canadian. English is the only language I speak, and I'm from Hamilton, Ontario. I woke up sounding Russian. Can you imagine? I don't even know fucking Russian. I don't know. Anyway, so this, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. You're adults here. It's okay.
It's okay.
All
They've
right.
been introduced to me as well.
So this one, I'm going to give you an opportunity to listen to what my voice used to sound like. It makes me sad a little bit. Where this works.
Oh, but not up here.
It's okay, there's
It's
no
just your
picture there.
voice?
Okay, it's just my voice.
Hello, I'm Tara, and you're listening to You Should Write a Book, the podcast. Today I'm sharing how the title of this podcast came to be and why so many people tell me, after hearing my brief intro, you should write a book. So here we go. As many of you know, or have at least figured out by now, I am an ordained Anglican priest. Although I haven't worked as one in over 4 years, the fact remains that I'm still an ordained priest in the Anglican Church, no matter how much the current bishop would like to deny that. When I'm asked about who I am and how I ended up here, my brief synopsis goes like this. I met my husband at a nudist park. Turns out he was a rock star. Our son was an honored guest at our wedding, and then I trained to become a priest.
So that's a little introduction about from me. My voice was so beautiful, and it was how I made my living, was my voice. Words were my life. My life was organized by language. I have no artistic talent, but I can use my words to create an image that you can see in your mind's eye. I have no physical acumen, but I can build the scaffolding that can support an organization's growth. I can't bake, but I can describe a dessert that will have your mouth watering. I can't heal your body, but with my presence and my compassion and my words of wisdom, I can help you get out of a difficult situation. at least I can have my compassion and presence to still share. Aphasia is conditions that makes it hard for a person to use language. It can affect speaking, understanding, reading, and writing, but it doesn't change how smart someone is. Aphasia usually happens after a brain damage, like a stroke or a head injury, when the parts of the brain that control language are affected. And just before this presentation, I was talking to Carolyn, and I asked because aphasia is my speech problem, but I also have auditory aphasia, so sometimes I don't understand words. The most common phrase I say is, tell me again. Tell me again, tell me again, tell me again. I can't do the details. The condition can be mild, where a person has trouble finding the right words, or severe, where they may not be able to speak or understand at all. There are different types of aphasia depending on the language skills most affected. I know exactly where my stroke is. Like I literally know where it is. Treatment often involves speech therapy to help the person relearn language skills and find new ways to communicate. With support of therapists, family, and friends, many people with aphasia can improve their communication over time. I'm so thankful for all of the speech therapists who did much so working with me. This is a little clip of the 2 days after my stroke.
So yesterday, your speech therapist asked you to finish a sentence.
Okay.
All right, I want you to try. Okay, 3 strikes and you're.
Tell me again, I'm so
3 strikes and you're.
out. Ooh!
Couldn't do that one yesterday. Good job.
I didn't get it yesterday.
I know. Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good. I don't know of any other sentences for you to
It's
finish.
okay. Remember things like Hamilton.
Yep.
Hamilton in Ontario. No, in Ontario.
Well,
Ontario.
Ontario. Ontario. Ontario. Ontario. Ontario. Oh no. Those freaking vowels.
Right? It's just all the vowels. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Tyler lives in Toronto.
That was good. Yeah, Tyler's in front.
Drake and Gemma lives they're in Hamilton.
Yep.
By the gate, go train. Nope. Go train.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do Jody and Myron live?
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Edmonton.
Yeah, they're up in Edmonton. What about Drew and Tracy?
Sherwood Park.
Sherwood Park? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And yes.
Mm-hmm. Who's the Prime Minister of Canada right now?
Ooh. The cutie guy.
All right. That's good.
Oh, no. No, his dad. No, it's very. Oh, this is sad. Because I can remember his father.
Mm-hmm. What's his father's name?
Pierre.
Okay, that's a bit more of an abstract name. Pierre
Trudeau.
Trudeau. Yeah, and his son is
Trudeau and Justin.
Trudeau. And dough is weird because it's EAU. It's kind of weird.
That's weird. Okay.
All right.
Where are we going?
All right. I'll stop this one.
Okay. It makes me so sad to listen to how much trouble I was having just to make sentences. I found it very hard to, vowels was very hard for me, more than consonants. So getting the sound right.
So yesterday,
Idioms, oh my goodness, idioms. Actually, the beginning of this video, when the speech therapist had asked me to complete the saying, strikes, 3 strikes and you're out. Idioms like that, gone. They don't make sense into my brain, so I can't remember them. My daughter-in-law she works at a restaurant called Pigeonhole. Nonsense. It's nonsense, so it doesn't make any sense. To have this, it took me a year to remember where she worked. Because it's nonsense to me, okay? So idioms are gone for me. For instance, I didn't put. All right. Oh, this is must have the one slides that got taken off. All right. So this is a graphia. Have you heard about the graphia yet? So a graphia is about having hard time making sentences and to write. For some reason, when I started to writing, I did it in a circle. I couldn't write a sentence, but I made them into circles. Apparently, this is a thing. Yay me. All right. So then I want to talk about the next thing. I just learned this 4 hours ago. All right. I have Gerstmann syndrome. Have you heard about this? Gerstmann? All right. 4 symptoms. Finger agnosia. I don't have this. My fingers are fine. Right and left confusion. We just talked about this in the talk. Yes. Anyway, right, left. So I went to, Nick's restaurant. We went there for Easter just this Sunday, and I sent a text to my son. I said, I'm sitting to the left. Go to the left, and I go up the stairs. So he comes, and he goes to the left. I meant right. So there's me yelling I'm like, Weasley, I meant right. Anyway, so this is common for me to screw up my left-right thing, and sometimes I was bad at the beginning. I'm better now. I would say yes when I meant no. I would say the opposite thing. And my family, friends, my support network would fucking aphasia. They would check in with me. If they were expecting me to say no, and I said yes, they would say, do you mean that? Now, I can't, you tell me this word. Oh, this is fun for me. So numbers gone for me. I can't do little little numbers, subtraction. I have the concept in there, but I can't. I parked in the parking lot. I had to take picture of the number of my parking spot because I can't remember 3 numbers. 3 numbers too much for me to remember. Yeah. And apparently it's part of the angular gyrus. Anyway, I just found this 4 hours ago. I'm like, I have lots of syndromes. Yeah. Now I heard this if you go to Europe, anybody go to Europe and you go to the bank pen machine, they scramble the numbers. So I know my code only because it's my grandmother's phone number from a child. I have these, but everything else, my work and my where I live, I only know the pattern, not the numbers. This makes sense to you? So I know the pattern, but I can't remember the code. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about, I don't know if you're going to be part of the hospital. I'm going to talk a little bit about being rehabilitation. Most people in the rehabilitation floor at the foothills stroke recovery, most of them have physical deficits. I stayed 6 weeks ambulatory. I drove my nursing crazy because they didn't know where I was half the time because I could walk. And I had speech therapy 3 times a day. 3 times a day, 5 days a week. Because I had to insist. I had to insist in staying me in. I didn't, sorry, too much fucking aphasia, Jesus. But most of the people, they were trying to do toileting and transfers and doing walking things. I didn't need that, but because my whole world was words. My whole world was words. Oh, another disappearing slide. Okay. So this is from the AHS to indicate that there is a communication deficit. Might be hearing loss, might be speech, something. Sometimes I saw an MRI tech during my visit, and my MRI tech spoke to me like I was developmental handicap. I was so angry. I walked out and left the MRI. I was so angry for this because she was needing a signature, and I kept saying, it's my signature you need. Oh no, that's okay, dear. No, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about Carolyn. It's okay. Oh my God. Anyway, I was so mad. I was like, my fucking signature. Anyway, sorry. And I was trying to tell I'm still competent, but because of my speech, I was treated like there's something wrong with my logic or my ability to sign my own permission. I reported her. Assume competence. Always assume competence. Trust that they can make their own decisions. Speak directly to the person. Offer help if they need it. Be patient and speak slowly. And use long pauses. I went to the bank in the financial thing, I don't know, I took my son because numbers are confusing for me. I asked the person to speak slowly because I have aphasia. He was from India, they have a tendency to speak fast, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't keep up. I didn't know what he was talking. I said, slow please, and he never looked at me. He only spoke to my son. I never did, this was the only time in my whole life, and I'm old, I actually punched the wall and said, stop, it's my banking, slow down. It's the only time I really lost my patience. Consider using gestures, pictures, or written notes to get the message out. How am I doing, Carolyn? It's all right, thank you. Using gestures, very good, thank you. And ask if there have any strategies. The patients or your clients, they might have some ideas, suggestions about how to make it better, the communication, right? For instance, we were talking about Kevin Linland is a speech therapist with AHS, and we've become friends for 4 years now. He would say, what he used to say. He would say, take your time. And I wanted to punch his face. I'm like, just give me the time. Anyway, so that strategy might work for most of it, but for me, it drove me crazy. I'm like, I just wanted to take a breath and then speak. I assume I have permission to take time. Anyway, so ask them. Ask them what strategies is better. Yes, check that they have their hearing aids and glasses. As an aside, I used to work when I was young with developmental handicapped children, and he had severe cerebral palsy, and he was blind, and I was working with him. I think I was only like 16 when I did this, but anyway, God, that was 40 freaking years ago. Anyway, and he would be very agitated. Then I found out that he had hearing aids, but the staff weren't giving him the hearing aids. And so what he changed his whole life having his hearing aids once he had. So make sure if you're making good communication, what do they need right now? You guys are all blobs to me right now. So, oh, there you are. You're lovely. So have your glasses. Consider lighting and limited background noise. Right after my stroke, it was very difficult for me to go into public places because there was too much sound. To have a conversation and go to the pub or for restaurants. Some restaurants are better than others. You know this bouncy sound when there's echoing? I'm going to have to ask repeating a lot. And it's not that I don't hear them, it's that I don't understand when you're speaking. There's too much noise, background. And watch for signs of understanding. Thumbs up. Ask questions with clear choices. That's very hard. Sometimes get creative. Draw a picture. You're going to learn all of these very good strategies to use, and they take a picture, explain a picture, right? Anyway, you'll learn all of these strategies, but the thing is, be patient, right? And mom, you have to do patience sometimes to listen, yeah. Summarize what you talked about and ensure you got it right, and ask if anything else you want to say. Now, I've had very good experience at the foothills overall. One of my favorite nurses, I loved her. She's great. Because it was exhausting for me to do speech therapy. And because can you tell I'm cheeky? I put a sign on my hospital door that said, "No more words today." I didn't have any more words. I was out of words. For this presentation to come at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, I worked yesterday, and for the most part, I haven't spoken since 4 o'clock tomorrow. Yes, not tomorrow. This is also part of my aphasia, is that I say the wrong day. If I meant yesterday or today, or anyway, fucking aphasia. Anyway, so I do no speaking. And after this presentation, no talking, because I have to work in the morning. So I have to think of my life based on how much talking and how much listening, because everything goes through my injury. Listening and speaking goes through the same injury. It's exhausting because I have to interpret my thought, right, through the injury, through my aphasia, and then out of my mouth. It takes a lot of energy to talk and to listen. All right. on the day of my stroke, it's a little bit hard to talk, but I woke up and I was fine. I did brush my teeth, I make my coffee, nothing, no physical symptoms, nothing. I have a dog. And I talked to my dog and let her outside, and I thought that was weird. The first symptom that I understood that something was wrong was global morning news. Now most of you are too young to remember Charlie Brown. You know how these parents, I was watching the news and it sounded to me. And I thought, well, that's weird. It doesn't make sense what I'm hearing. Now I know something's wrong. I phoned my son, and I'm trying to tell him something's wrong. And he said, Mommy, you're having a stroke. He knew right away, you're having a stroke. And why he knew this? Fast. Face, arms, speech, time. And he knew right away, called 911. I had the ambulance come. I go to the hospital. Because I'm me, I was still making jokes. So, but I was trying to be funny, but it was gibberish coming out of my mouth. I thought I was hilarious. And then I had like 12 doctors coming at me to do examination. So then I go, but for some reason, so now I knew I had a stroke. I knew something's wrong with my speech. And I was sure I was going to be home by the night. For some reason, I thought, sorry. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the grief. And the reason I'm going to talk about the grief is if you have patients who have aphasia from whatever, a brain bleed, a stroke, an accident, they've lost a lot at a very short time. Because I was used to be a priest, I worked about grief. I've been the bedside of people who are dying. I was often the phone call right now after a death, so but what happens, you have the event. So imagine that my mommy died. Mommy died, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grief. This is so sad. My mommy's died. But I have to call the funeral home. I have to call the bank. I have to get the death certificate. There's lots of details, right? So you do the busy work. So you're doing the busy work. And then you have a funeral. So you have a funeral, and that closes that bracket, right? So then now you can think about your life and what it's going to look like without that person anymore. I had a stroke. I did the busy work. I had no time, no way to close the bracket. So I closed the bracket with a friend. We had a ceremony in his backyard with a fire. We had an opportunity to have both of my sons to talk about what they lost because of my stroke. I burned a sermon that was beautiful, that was handwritten. And I knew that I would never do that again. That beautiful voice that you heard was never going to be the same. And I needed to close that bracket, to mourn what I lost, so that I could take that and make a springboard to whatever looks like now. And what it is now is to you. I was never going to think that I was going to be talking to a speech therapy classes at the university. Anyway, it's okay. Most days it's fine. I'm okay. Most days. Sometimes. Yesterday I will go to work. I'm now a caregiver with people. I have a client with disability who has cerebral palsy, and I do all of his care, his bathing and showering and getting out of bed, of this thing. I used to do this when I was in my 20s, so I have a memory of how to do this. But then I have this shift, and I'm I'm a cook and cleaner for a very wealthy, powerful couple. I pulled up to the thing and I was like, does someone have Alzheimer's or something that I need to know? No, I just cook all of their week's meals for 6 weeks. So then Monday I get email, can you just go to the shopping? Here's the card, go to the shopping. The grocery shopping sound easy. I order my groceries. Grocery stores are my nemesis. It's too much stimulation. I found it's very difficult for me. Actually, I should probably put my headphones on maybe to try. So I had a panic attack at the store because I couldn't find the right products she was asking for. The staff were clearly worried about me because they kept checking to see, but I was weeping. And now I'm anxious, my words are worse. So now I'm stressed. It's very hard to make sentences, and it's very hard to not be, anyway, thankfully the couple was not in the house. I don't know if they have cameras in the house, but a lot of it would be. I was so agitated and everything. It took me So I had to actually send her letter and say, I'm so sorry, but I won't be able to do your grocery shopping anymore. I said, there's an app for that. Anyway. But from the ashes, I am on ASH, I am on disability. I don't have the capacity to work full time. It's exhausting for me. I work 14 hours a week. That is my maximum to work. So I will work 4-hour shift tomorrow morning, and I will sleep, and I always schedule Friday, no talking. Friday, no talking for me. Because it's too exhausting for me, and you've seen my aphasia come when I can't get the right word, I can't quite catch it. Of course, I'm a little nervous meeting all of you beautiful people, but because used to be a public speaker, it's a little easier for me. I'm still trying to use the skills about how to engage an audience and be adorable, get a little giggle. I told Carolyn, she said, oh, where are you going to talk about? I said, I'm going to make them laugh and I'm going to make them cry. That is my goal. But back to the beginning. Maybe the God of creation, wisdom of the universe, or the spirit of life has taken pity on me. I used to say, give me a microphone and a group of people and I'm good to go. So thank you for letting me use your microphone. All right, so you have any questions for me? Please have questions for me. Yes?
It seems like your personality stayed the same. Is that?
Oh, yes, I'm very, very lucky like this, because I know there are sometimes personality changes. I've always been this adorable. Yes, yes, that's a good question. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes?
The video you showed 3 days after your stroke, and
Yeah.
you still had your regular voice.
I did.
Was that separate from this? It was like a complication of the stroke?
Yeah, yes, so that was my voice right after my stroke, was my normal voice, but it was almost like baby talk. I was like baby talk with the aphasia. I had a migraine. There was something, I knew something was wrong. Called 911 because I'm in the stroke recovery thing, so they get me in right away. We've been talking to the police officers about learning about aphasia. I also want to do an in-service to ambulance drivers and the paramedics. Twice I've been told I don't have aphasia. I'm too tired to even ask this question. Anyway, so I go to the hospital. The doctor was looking 5 days after my stroke, my big stroke. No, maybe about 2 weeks after. I went blind on my left eye. It was terrifying. I lost all of my sight, and it was because I had a stroke behind my eye. I used to see, I have a little spot. It looks like Greenland in the middle of my, a little map of Greenland. in my eye. But anyway, so they were concerned about this thing. So some doctor decided this was a very good idea. I'm going to do a little surgery behind my eye. It was just a little incision and whatever. They shaved my hair. It was difficult. And I woke up with sounding Russian. Yeah. Yeah. So, foreign accent syndrome, some people say that I'm faking. I'm like, I'm not smart enough to fake this. Who would do this? And if I could do it, I would have a nice Irish accent or something. But anyway, yes, but that's a good question. I've been in touch with professionals who specialize in foreign accent syndrome. The most of work is going in Edinburgh, in Scotland. I do have moments where I have my voice back. Sometimes. I haven't had it in about 3 months. But sometimes I wake up in the morning and then I say, I speak to my roommate. I say, what voice coming out of my mouth? He said, oh, welcome back, Tara. Anyway, so yeah. Anyone else? Yes?
When you say that, like, you ask what your voice sounds like, when you are, like, thinking or talking to yourself in your head, is it your current accent, the Russian accent, or is it your old voice?
Such a good question. I love this question. The reason is, you can hear yourself thinking when you're thinking?
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody does this.
I did learn that.
Oh, I know, it's fucking weird. I can't imagine not having an inner narrator.
Or when people, sometimes they can't, like, imagine, like, seeing things. Like, if you say red car, they can't see it.
Exactly. Brains are so weird. But anyway, but that's a great question. My inner narrator is my own voice. So I still think in my authentic Tara voice. Oh, by the way, this accent is called Tatiana. I gave her a name. It was just better. That's a great question. Yes?
When you do get your old voice back, how long does it last?
The most time I've had it was for like a day and a half, and I thought I was cured. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this is good. But I have chronic aphasia. So even I have my Tara voice, I still have aphasia. Yeah. Yeah. Yes?
Do you still like access speech therapy like even now? It's been like a while since you had your stroke.
They
right?
kicked me out.
How long did you do treatment for? How long did you do treatment for?
I think I was in the program through Peter Lougheed after about 14 months, and then they said, you're chronic. No, they didn't say that. They said, but because at some time I have to stop, right? But I was very close with my speech therapist because I saw speech therapy twice a week or 3 times a week online. Yeah, I did most of it just because right after my stroke I didn't have a driver license, and it was take a year, an hour. Jesus, fucking aphasia. An hour to go to the bus. So we went online. I'm very happy for online. It worked a lot for me, and I credit their persistence at learning tricks. One trick, maybe I'm sure you're going to talk about this. I would put, I got rid of it anymore, but I have a metronome. You know metronome? And I had the metronome, and my earphones to keep my speech a little bit more rhythmic. So I would listen to or with tapping on my knee, but a metronome app was very good. I had to figure out what was a good pace for me. But that was one of the tricks that I taught myself